Hi, it's Scott, aka Sketchy McDoodles. I just wanted to take a second to share something with you. I had a bit of an issue. So I've got this right here. This is one of my favorite cups. It's cheap. I don't even know what that brand is. It's from Amazon. It's like 15 bucks. I got two of them, one for work and one for home because I like them. 40 ounces. They keep stuff cold a long time, and they fit in my cup holder in my car, so I can take it with me, and I always have a cold drink. Problem is, because they fit in my cup holder, when they're not in a cup holder, they're a bit unsteady. They wobble and tip, and I've knocked this one over many times. So I thought, well, hey, I'll just make something to broaden this base when I'm not using it in a car and stabilize it. What I did originally was I went on Maker World, and in Maker World they have these pre-made models, and I thought, oh, well, this will be super easy. They have a cup holder extender for your car, so you can take your regular cup holder and make it taller for taller cups. Perfect. This fits in a cup holder. It'll fit in the extender. I can take that extender in Bamboo Studios, add a primitive, have a base plate, and it'll stabilize it, and boom. I don't have to worry about knocking this over all the time anymore. That seemed like a good idea. Instead of taking measurements and drawing it up and building something in CAD, I just would take something that was existing, modify it a bit, and boom, it'd be done. This is what I originally came up with. This is the cup holder that was modeled on Bamboo Studios, and I was like, you know what, I think that'll probably work. I went to put my cup in it, and yeah, it didn't fit. No problem, right? So I just went into Bamboo Studios, and I just scaled it up by 7%, random number. 7%, maybe it'll work. So I scaled it up 7%, and I also changed it from a square base to a round base. I thought that would be better. So I scaled it up, I set my cup in it, and 7% was not the right number. 7% was not the right number. So I thought, all right, what I need to do is, if you take a look inside here, this inner hole, or that opening, it just needs to be a little bigger. It needs to actually be a bit bigger. And so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll go into Bamboo Studios. They have primitive shapes you can add, or negative primitive shapes. And I thought I'll just take a negative primitive cylinder, slightly larger than this, drop it down in there, and that'll open up the opening here without changing too much with the overall size and this dimension here. The problem with that is wall right here is going to get real thin. In fact, I may have to open it up to a point where this wall kind of gets cut into. So what I did was I took this primitive that I had added for a base, and I just brought it up. I made it thicker. So now I have more wall to work with. And what I ended up next was this. So this was the next version. It's got a much bigger opening down there, and still plenty of wall. And so I tried it out, and you know what? It kind of worked. This is it's definitely more stable. It's not going to tip over as much, but you can see it doesn't quite sit down in there. So at this point, I decided I needed to open that opening a little more, and I also wasn't sold on this upper portion here, because you have to really just set it exactly where that opening is for the handle. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to open that up, I'll get rid of this whole top half. I'll get rid of that. I don't need that on there. I just need a base that's stable. And so when I was considering doing that, it hit me that I've taken a design that was existing and I've eliminated every feature of it at that point. I've basically just totally erased the design that was there and replaced it with a cylinder that has a hole in it and a bottom. At that point, I was feeling a little bit stupid. So I decided, why am I doing this? I'm trying to use Bamboo Studios, which you can do some cool stuff in, but it's not a highly capable design software. I have SolidWorks X Design. I've spent an extraordinary amount of time learning that software and trying to get better with it, and I'm still learning with it. I've put a lot of time and effort into it, and I've got this tool that I could use, and here I am on, I'm gonna guess about 15 hours of printing, 3 models that don't quite work exactly how I'd like. That was all in an effort to quickly and easily whip something together to solve my cup tipping problem. So at that point I said, I'm not gonna modify these files anymore. I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna actually use the tools that I have to correctly design it. So I spent probably 2 minutes figuring out which measurements I would need, how I wanted to measure this, because this is a tapered fit here with a slope or a chamfer up to a straight cylinder. And so I spent maybe 2 minutes figuring out what measurements I needed and how I was going to take those. And then I spent about another 2 minutes writing those down and making a rough sketch. Then I spent another couple minutes after I opened up the CAD software deciding the approach I was going to take for the design. I would say within 10 to 15 minutes, I had a 3D model built. I had it exported and opened up in Bamboo Studios, sliced, and my prototype was printing on the machine. This was the prototype I came up with. I named it, of course, because why not? It's the stabilizer. So I've spent about 25 minutes designing this versus a much longer time attempting to modify a design that already existed and getting less than ideal results. It's a bit embarrassing, but funny. In an effort to do something easier and quicker, I ended up putting in a lot more effort for a not ideal design. So I printed out this. I had this printing. I pulled it off the printer last night, and you'll also notice on the inside of this, if you can see that, this is actually form fitted for the bottom of this cup. So I thought, well, let's give it a try. It fits. It fits. In about 25 minutes, it fits. This morning I woke up. It's not an exact fit. I wanted a little bit like 0.3 millimeters wider opening for clearance. So I made some moderate modifications to the prototype and reprinted it. I also renamed it the stabilizer, and I added some cork board to the bottom to make it soft. And now that is a satisfying fit right there, and it will stay on there, so I can use it in the house, pick it up, drink, set it down. It's not going to fall over. It's very stable. But I think trying to take a shortcut and holding on to the idea that I could do it easier, that was probably a mistake. Now I have a functional stabilizer for my cup, and if I had just gone with that in the beginning, I could have saved a lot of time and effort. There's probably a lesson to be learned there. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Peace.